Picture this: Benjamin Franklin standing in a grand Parisian salon, the chatter of diplomats filling the air. He's just defeated the Duchess of Bourbon at chess, not by accident but with a bold move Americans call taking the king. She laughs, surprised by this new rule, and Franklin smirks. We do things differently in America. That moment isn't just about chess. It captures the spirit of a man who shaped a nation from scratch. But how did a runaway printer's apprentice become a sage of innovation, diplomacy, and self-mastery? Let's unravel Ben's story and pull out lessons still lighting the way today. Franklin's journey begins not in polished halls but dusty print shops, where young Ben learned to hustle. Yet, what propelled him beyond mere survival? At just 17, Ben Franklin ran away from his brother's strict printing shop in Boston to Philadelphia with nothing but a few coins and fierce determination. He landed a job printing currency and newspapers but didn't stop there. Instead, he threw himself headfirst into every book he could find and every conversation he could start. That bold escape wasn't an act of rebellion. It was a coded invitation to reinvent himself. The question now was, could he make his newfound freedom pay off? Imagine your mind as a workshop. Every question you ask and every fact you learn is a hammer strike shaping a tool. Franklin saw curiosity not as a vague itch but as a hammer he wielded daily. His relentless questioning, be it about electricity, politics, or language, turned his mind into a versatile Swiss Army knife. Rather than waiting for inspiration, he crept up on problems sideways, like a cat watching a bird until the perfect moment to pounce. Franklin didn't transform overnight. Instead, he adopted a tiny habit system, 13 virtues like temperance and humility, that he tracked with a small book. It's like sculpting a statue from tiny chips rather than giant blows. Progress was slow but measurable. Over years, he became more than a printer or author. He became the engineer of his own character, proving mastery comes from unglamorous, consistent refinement. Ben wasn't just book smart. He was a mechanic of life, inventing things and ideas that made everyday stuff better. But how exactly did he turn wisdom into action? During a terrifying thunderstorm in Philadelphia, lightning shattered roofs and ignited fires. Franklin, fascinated by electricity, invented the lightning rod, a simple pointed metal stick that safely directed shocks into the ground. His invention wasn't just a gadget. It was a lifesaver that earned the skepticism of many but eventually widespread adoption. This same boldness showed in his experiment with kite and key. He almost got fried but confirmed electricity's secrets that would light up the world. Think of challenges as locked doors. Franklin's mind was the locksmith who refused to give up. He once noticed that postal routes were slow and inefficient, so he set up the first efficient American postal service, a clever network solving a logistical maze. Problems to him weren't dead ends. They were puzzles with missing pieces he could hunt down relentlessly, shaping entire systems rather than patching cracks. Franklin's inventions and reforms, fire departments, libraries, even daylight savings, weren't just self-serving tweaks, but ideas shared with communities. He believed knowledge belonged to the public, not hidden in smoke-filled rooms or aristocratic vaults. This generosity planted seeds for America's cooperative spirit and showed how one person's practical wisdom can ripple through society like thrown stones to calm waters. Franklin wasn't just an introverted genius scribbling in notebooks. He thrived in rooms filled with strangers and nobles, turning acquaintances into powerful alliances. In Paris, Franklin famously played chess with the Duchess of Bourbon, an intellectual aristocrat. His American audacity shifted the rules mid-game, charming the European elite. That cheeky confidence broke barriers far beyond the chessboard, earning him invitations to court parties and boardrooms where political alliances brewed. From chess to politics, every move was calculated and deliberate, leveraging small wins into vast networks of influence. Franklin knew trust isn't a given. It's earned by showing up repeatedly as a reliable, honest presence. He printed newspapers that tackled controversy with reason over rage, often risking personal attacks for truthfulness. This reputation planted seeds of credibility that opened doors politically and economically. Like compound interest in finance, goodwill stacked over decades became his currency. Through founding the Junto Club, a mutual improvement society, Franklin created a physical and intellectual gathering place where diverse trades and ideas mixed. This was more than socializing. It was institutionalized networking, a space where strangers became collaborators, sparking projects like volunteer firefighting and lending libraries. Franklin proved community building was an early democracy's secret weapon. If you think Ben was born disciplined, think again. His secret was a quirky habit book and relentless honesty with himself, a recipe for real transformation. Franklin developed a unique system to cultivate his character, the 13 virtues like temperance, sincerity, and industry. Each week he focused on one, marking a small book with dots whenever he slipped. It wasn't a motivational speech. It was a brutally honest data log showing where he stumbled. That tiny notebook was his personal coach, nudging him to keep refining instead of falling into excuses. Rather than hiding flaws, Franklin embraced them like old friends. In his autobiography, he openly describes pride and anger as ongoing battles. This radical self-honesty wasn't self-flagellation, but an alert system. Knowing your weaknesses lets you avoid traps and rally your strengths. It's like having your own weather forecast inside your head to prepare for storms rather than be blindsided. He never claimed perfection, just steady progress. Franklin's motto could have been, better every day. He believed slipping once didn't mean failing forever. This mindset kept him motivated through failures, disputes, and political setbacks alike. The lesson: excellence isn't a bright flash, it's a slow burn that wins marathons, not sprints. You might know Franklin as a founding father, but his real legacy was crafting ideas and institutions that outlasted politics and wars. Franklin's decades as ambassador to France were more than diplomatic gigs. They were masterclasses in cultural influence. He wasn't just selling a young nation's cause, but embodying its ideals, humility mixed with ingenuity. His charm and wit made him a legend among European courts, proving politics is as much about personality and storytelling as policy. By the time he returned to America, he himself was a symbol of possibility. The libraries, fire companies, and educational clubs Franklin helped start weren't cool side projects. They were cornerstone institutions fueling America's innovation engine. These communities created networks for knowledge exchange, civic responsibility, and technological progress. They transformed a fragmented colony into a nation primed for the future, with the blueprint still visible in modern nonprofits and startups. Franklin's approach to lifelong learning, practical experimentation, and character cultivation has sparked global movements in self-improvement and entrepreneurship. Whether it's habit-tracking apps, makerspaces, or civic clubs, traces of his methodology are everywhere. His story is proof that a man who started as a printer's runaway apprentice can engineer systems and ideas that inspire millions centuries later. Remember Franklin in that Paris salon. His cheeky chess move wasn't just a playful jab. It was an emblem of how he lived, boldly, thoughtfully, and differently. His story teaches us that mastery isn't magic but messy work, curiosity isn't idle wandering but a tool bench, and legacy isn't fame but useful institutions and shared knowledge. So here's a little challenge. Pick one small habit or curiosity today, dive in, track it, share it with someone, and watch how your own story begins to ripple forward. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.